Can we free the cities from their energy and pollution problems? I know we can. Today we have a very big opportunity. The way we live is changing, and the world is changing very, very quickly. In 1950, 30% of men were living in a town, and we think that by 2050, 3/4 of the population will live in a town. The future of our planets are towns, but this leads to new challenges. How can we ensure a good quality of life to all these people? Towns will evolve very rapidly in the new decades, in the next decades, and this process must be coordinated, it must be linked. We speak of town replanning. The only way to succeed is to apply to this planning process consistency and ethics. One certain concern in this replanning process is the energy. We do crazy things that luckily will soon no longer can doing. In our next future, and I mean until the nuclear fusion is ready, but it won't be until 2050, 2060, we will not be able to continue using and spoiling energy as we do now. It will not be possible for the average man to go around for more than 1.5 hours in a car in the morning and in the evening, in a car that weighs 20 times his own weight. It simply will not be affordable anymore. In Europe, 40% of the energy is consumed by buildings, who are considered to be the main source of carbon dioxide emissions. The energy to heat buildings is usually obtained by burning. And for every building in a town, we burn tons and tons of oil and gases, and we produce poisonous particles. We put them above our heads, and then we are surprised that it comes down. Then we breathe it, and then we and our children have more and more problems with asthmas, cancers, illnesses. But can we really do nothing about it? I think that the towns of the next future must ensure a happy life, be self-sufficient, and create no waste, no pollution. And with today's technologies and knowledge, we can. Nowadays, it shouldn't be permitted at all to build buildings that pollute anymore. It is discouraging to see that despite the incredible progress and the knowledge we achieved, we still build following ideas that are at least 50 years old, from an era where there was no computer and there was no internet. The world changed very much, our lives changed, but the building we build today are still exactly the same. So I'm glad to be here today to show you that it is possible to do far more than we think. And I'll tell you a story. It's also my story. I'm going to introduce you to my realized dream, the Delta Zero building. 18 years ago, I was a young architect in my early 30s. I decided to build a new building to be my future office and home. And since I love the town, I looked for a piece of land in urban area, and I found one just a few hundred meters from here. It is believed that the most difficult task for an architect is to build, to project, to plan his own house, and it was. And that's because your house, your home, represents what you are, and it is much easier to do it for somebody else, you see him from outside, than to look into you, to see at your own feelings and to express it. According to the planning principles of our office, I wanted a building with a simple and elegant design, flexible, open towards the town. non-polluting, and what we call child of his time. The idea condensed, and it became a zero-energy glass building, pure, with no sun protection on the facades outside. We settled the goal. It was to demonstrate that today it is possible to build without polluting, and we knew that if we succeeded with this building, all the rest would have been very, very easy. I took my time. We took it as an exercise. It had to be the prototype of our next generation of buildings. The building was planned and replanned several times. It was an experimental tool that made me change completely the way to think and to plan. I went abroad to get informations about the new technologies, the new experiences, the new materials, and I learned a lot in this period about building technology and energy. The result of this planning process was a simple structure, a pure cube of glass with a stainless steel belt covering the slabs on each floor. As I was ready to start the construction, an icon of our age emerged. The first iPhone came out. And I was pleasantly surprised because it was the same materials, glass and stainless steel. The same design, the same philosophy, a very simple design, but with a lot of technology inside. So I was happy. I had at least the proof that the building was a real child of our time. Some information about the technology inside this Delta Zero building. The structure is very simple, flexible. Everybody can decide how his space has to be. It's a 7 stories building. We have a special skin, which we considered part of the building as a system. It was planned to reduce energy loss from inside and excessive energy entry through solar irradiation in the summer. We had to learn then that the frame is the part who spoils the majority of the energy in a window, and so we used very, very big glass windows, about 10 square meters each, and every one weighs 957 kilos, so practically like a car. To insulate the roof and keep our design, we had to use a special vacuum insulated panel, which is used in aerospace industry, which insulates 10 times more than a normal one. And you see here, it's this silver panel, which is under vacuum. If on the construction site somebody makes a hole in it, it loses 50% of its capacity of insulating. Then we have a non-stop ventilation system with heat recovery. The outside air is taken from the mailbox. It passes into the soil to preheat in the winter and to be cooled down in the summer. The air is then filtered and ionized and expelled into the living spaces to guarantee high comfort and pure air, because we don't pollute, but our neighbors still go on polluting. And in the winter, we don't have to open windows, so to change air as you usually do in a building, so we don't waste any energy. Then integrated in the south facade, we have 100 square meters of sun collectors, which produce both water for both sanitary and the heating use. To heat and cool the rooms, we have fan coils which are then fed with water. Then we have a reversible geothermal pump which is connected to a net of 2.5 kilometers of pipes which reach 130 meters below the ground level. that produce hot water and cold water according the needs of the building, according to the season, with an energy saving rate of 75%. Here you see the drillings. It's practically the same technology you use to drill for oil. The last thing is a photovoltaic power plant, flat, completely integrated in the roof to give a fifth facade, which produces energy, all the energy which is needed to run the equipments, the systems heating and cooling the whole building. We don't burn anything. We save the sky above us over 30 tons of carbon dioxide every year with that. So I can say I succeeded, because now, after 5 years for completion, I can assure you that it is the most beautiful place to work and to live in town. And in the evening, or where it rains, where there is a thunderstorm or it snows, I can assure you, is really magic. So I'm very glad to see, I'm happy to see that there are so many young people here today, because what I would like to transmit to young people, to the next generation, is the daring flight. It is possible. Keep on dreaming. Dream of a better world and put all your energy in realizing your dream. And I'm sure you will succeed. Realizing the own dream is a hard way, but it's the only way to change the world.